Good evening, folks. I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Park Board to order on Tuesday, January 20th, 2026 at 6 o'clock p.m. This time we'll have Blake Walbrink lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Blake. Excuse me. Make a motion to approve the minutes from the December 15th, 2025 Park Board meeting.
Second.
We have a first and a second.
We need to present first.
He
This-
did. He made the motion.
We're doing it different now, so somebody else has to present and then someone else seconds it.
Oh, are we?
Did you not read your
Would you like to
email?
present?
The chair can.
I'm just telling you what
Nope.
the email said.
I know, we're doing it, so,
We'll present the motions as printed.
and I entertain a second.
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes are approved. Present communications, I hope everyone had the opportunity to read the email, as what Dave just alluded to, that we're going to start following the way the city's been doing it with resolutions versus just making motions and seconds. So we'll continue doing that now. It actually helps our staff a little bit prepare for this meeting. So although it is a lengthy packet that you get now, it is going to help our staff. So that's why we're doing this. Personal appearances, we have none.
So, President Communication, can we go back, or do you want to do this at the end?
President Communications.
Well, instead of getting like 54 pages, can we get this electronically then? Is that what the email said?
That's what the email said. That's why I have my
We just
laptop
got to
in front
tell
of
them we
me.
want it electronically?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Do you know when she needs to know that by? I emailed her, but
I'm sorry.
do you know when she needs to know that by for the electronic preference?
You can tell her now, or,
Okay.
you're saying sometimes you might, sometimes you might not?
Well, I replied, there's a chance I wouldn't have my laptop at a time, but I replied to the email this afternoon.
Okay.
But I still have the large packet, so I just wanted to know how much.
I think everybody got the large
I
pack.
usually print them about 2,
Okay,
so
I just
if
missed
you
you
could give
then.
me at least by the morning, that would be good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Do you print extra one of these?
Yes, I printed an extra agenda for those who want to bring their laptops. I'll still bring you the agenda.
Okay, because I always like having an agenda,
Yeah.
because as you go through the laptop, you kind of lose where you're
Yes.
at, so, okay,
Yep,
that'll
that's what
work.
I did.
Which
for
is
Gary.
exactly what I've done right here.
Yeah.
I've got two pieces
So-
for my packet, so.
If that's what you would like, just let me know, and I'll save the paper for you.
Do you use the same thing as the city then?
Yes, you can, the link.
Yeah.
The email I sent out has the link to the packet.
The PDF packet, you got to download inside of that?
Yeah, I'll just throw out real quick. It is definitely easier to utilize if you download it.
Oh, absolutely, that's.
So if you try to use it just online, technically you can, but it is going to take a long time to load and all kinds of stuff. I would suggest downloading.
Thanks, Alex. Any other comments on that? We have no personal appearances. We're going to move on to the presentation of the rock star of the quarter awards. Kevin?
All right. Let's start with part-time, fourth quarter. Butch, will you come up here? So Butch has been with us for a while. Well, he was here with us for a while, and then he left for a little while and missed us so bad that he had to come back. So every morning when I come in early, Butch is there, actually leaving about when I get there. Sorry. That's all right. But he always goes above and beyond to look for things that need to be done, keep patrons safe, the community center clean. And I just want to say how special it is to have somebody like you on our staff. And our part-time employees are very important to us. And we utilize those a lot. Like I said, you're leaving as I'm coming in, so I get to see you sometimes, and sometimes I don't. So, again, you're the fourth quarter rock star, and we do appreciate all your service. All right, so full-time is Tracy Oliver. Come on up, Tracy. So Tracy's behind the scenes most of the time. I will say one of the things that I've noticed that she goes above and beyond to make sure people feel comfortable in our community center and will answer any question, no matter how small it is. I would like to say she was integral in some theft that we were having at High Blue and kind of coordinated all the stuff to do to capture the people that were unfortunately stealing from the lockers. And we do appreciate that. It was a lot of hard work. She probably spends, I don't know how many hours, looking for video to track down stuff. So we do appreciate that. And thanks for all your hard work. Were you surprised?
Thank you, Kevin. And congratulations to both of you.
Thank you.
We'll move on to Councilman Liaison Communications. Alex?
So the big one related to parks is that we officially have the parcels broken out and we have parkland identified. I believe, well, let me put it this way, it's in the back of the packet if you haven't seen it yet. Take a look. I know that staff, work together to make sure that everything was identified, but if there's something that you think is missing, just let us know. Let us know before the next council meeting, I guess. That is when it will come forward. So I just know that was a conversation, and that was obviously very related to parks. The other thing I'll bring up that's kind of, been a buzz lately is we have finally had a neighborhood meeting to discuss this proposed entertainment. I keep calling it a district. It's really not a district, but, this large indoor entertainment complex. 110,000 square feet, and they mentioned movies, go-karts, arcade, bar, restaurant as the primary focal point of entertainment, and then there'll be it's mixed use, so there will also be apartments, and there'll be some retail on the bottom level of those apartments. They're still trying to nail down what that's going to look like. My understanding is they hope to have us some better answers by the time they bring it to Planning Commission, which should be next month, is their goal. If there's any questions on that, I'll be happy to try to answer any. I can answer the little bit I do know from that neighborhood meeting. But so that's, I think, something potentially exciting. I know youth and family fun in the area has often talked about as having to leave Belton to go experience. So here's an opportunity. Anyways, I think those are the primary things to share with you guys, unless anybody has questions.
How many apartments are estimated in this?
I don't remember the total number off the top of my head. There's
What's your question?
How many apartments are they expected?
So I think it's 600, but I think it's in 2 phases. I don't remember exactly. There's.
South face first, what they said the other night, and north face.
Yep. So there's actually 5 phases. The first one being the obvious of roads. And then phase 2 and 3 is the first set of apartments and the entertainment thing. They said 1, 2, and 3 could potentially be done simultaneously, in terms of it's not have to get this phase done to do that phase, that kind of thing. And then phase 4 and 5 was the rest of the apartments or mixed use, whatever that might be in the future. And right now they kind of have it penciled as apartments, but that could change. I will say that I have personally pushed for townhouses or something of that nature, because I know there's a lot of discussion about the missing middle and things that we'd like to see here. But anyways, the number might be 600. I don't know. I wish Joe was sitting beside me, but something around that.
Thank you.
I think he also said that 1 through 5 could be interchangeable too that night.
Yep. Yeah, that was the.
It's a pretty good presentation if you didn't, I assume it's online.
The neighborhood meetings are unfortunately not recorded, that is not online. But the planning commission meeting, which will have all that information and honestly more, that'll obviously be recorded and will be available for watching when that occurs, so.
Unfortunately, I couldn't make it to that, but I'm just curious, was there any funding or TIF offering, SID, anything like that involved?
So the short answer is no. There has not been a request of that type. Now, to be frank with you, I'll be a little surprised if that request doesn't happen, just given the nature of but what that looks like and whatnot. I mean, I could be pleasantly surprised. I'd be happy if that was not the case. And so maybe I'll be wrong. And I'll keep my fingers crossed for that. But at this time, there's been no request for any type of tax abatement, anything, so.
That's good.
Okay.
Is there a potential timeline?
Not, so it's gotta go through planning commission, right? It's gotta make it through planning commission, and then it's gotta make it through council. So there's, you're saying, well, I guess, let me back up. Overall timeline of a project like that, is that what your question is?
So if or when it is approved to go forward, from breaking ground to having, a viable entertainment complex, what's that timeline?
Gotcha. That was provided as potentially like 2031 to 2032, having all 5 phases complete.
Okay.
With the hope and goal of phases 1 through 3 a lot sooner than that. They were talking, I think, 2027 was their goal for those 2, or those 3. So.
Okay, thanks.
What was the neighborhood feedback
Any
like at the meeting?
other questions
Nick's-
for Alex?
Nick's-
Nick?
Neighborhood feedback was pretty, I would say, overwhelmingly positive. There was some concerns brought up about traffic. There was also concerns brought up about taxes. I think those are the 2 kind of primary questions brought up in a very, very valid way, I will say. And I think, but overall, it was pretty positive. I mean, like I said, I'll just if any indication of how many times I get asked or get told that, people have to leave Belton to go experience entertainment, there's nothing for our kids to do here and things like that. I'm hoping that this is going to fill that, so.
And you can make Y Highway and 58 Highway 6 lanes, and they're still gonna complain about traffic.
Yeah.
That is probably a true statement.
If you own a business on Y or 58, you love traffic, so.
I guess I just start wondering, if you got 600 units here, you got the other 2 apartment complexes, you're building another one on Autumn Ridge, right? Out there off,
Significantly smaller in Autumn Ridge, but yes, you are correct.
yeah, at what point do we just go back to houses and townhomes and
But
things?
this guy says he's gonna build houses too, and he wants to do the upper end. That's
Yeah.
exciting.
Well, I think there's something going in over by Kentucky Trail.
There's so just on your first part of your question there, Petra, so Tyler Burks, if anybody knows him, he's from here originally. He graduated Belton. He stated that Petra, which is the development company he is part of, is definitely interested in housing in Belton, and not just apartments. He's talking like single-family houses, that type of thing. So I think that's really promising. The other thing that was asked about was, along the lines, was potentially having a percentage of these apartments being something that would be affordable housing, not just market rate. And they were open to that idea too, I don't know what that looks like or whatnot, and that might be in the later phase kind of a thing, but that was another discussion. And they just honestly, genuinely seemed very interested in Belton as a place, you know what I mean? So it's taken maybe somebody that was from here to kind of realize our region and understand all those things, but he certainly seems to understand it. That was the takeaway I had. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
Well, the exciting thing he said the other night was upper end housing too. It wasn't just housing.
Yep,
That would be nice, yeah.
yeah, agreed.
Any other questions for Alex? Thanks, Alex.
Yeah.
Moving on, city manager's not here this evening, so we won't have communications with him. We'll move on to the department reports and the director's report. Kevin?
All right. Oh, it's stuck down. So the numbers are up about 6,000, a little over 6,000 from last December for memberships. We've had a lot of new faces coming in. I think we had somewhere around, if I remember, 80 in the first 4 days, new memberships. So that's good. Let's see, things going on at High Blue. They finished up the sound system today in the aquatic area. We're gonna, I think Thursday, they'll be here to help program and show us how to use it. It'll be nice having a sound system in there, especially for like our events that we have in there. It gets kind of loud and people can't hear, so. Cleveland Lake, a quick update on Cleveland Lake restroom. We haven't talked about that for a while. We were waiting for state approval for the bathroom to be manufactured. That is done, and they are on hold. They will start production as soon as I tell them to, but I'm waiting for the contractor to get me some pricing. Because we've kind of flipped what we were gonna do a couple times, so I want the price to reflect the latest version of the drawings, so that's where we're at. And then again, I'd like to thank the staff for budget, all their hard work on the budget. It's a fun time. Everybody looks forward to it. They're ready to work on next year's. So I do appreciate that.
Any questions for Kevin? Thank you, Kevin. We'll move on to the department reports. In the packet, there's notes in there on aquatics. And anyone have any questions on that?
You hired a new assistant manager,
I did.
and how's
Yep.
that going?
Good. She's very eager. Oh, yeah, sorry, microphone thing. Hold on. Lainey's great. No, she's one of our, was one of our lifeguards, and she applied. We interviewed, and we went ahead and decided to go with her, and she's very eager to learn. She's been a lifeguard for a year and a half, so knows the team, knows the facility. Very excited to implement some, just different changes. She has some really good ideas for the summer, things like that, so.
Okay, good, thank you.
Speaking of the participants in the swim lesson, 539, that seems like a lot. How's that compare to prior?
I have no idea.
Okay.
When I came on in April of last year, I started doing a revenue report every month after every session, just because I like to know where I'm going, where our ups and downs and things like that is. So I'm not 100% sure where we were previously. So hopefully next year I can keep growing that.
Yeah, it seems like a lot. Congratulations on that. That's good. Any other questions for aquatics?
This is more a question for Kevin because I know I'm going to be asked tomorrow, but the rec pool is cold? Is that?
Yes, the air temperature in the rec pool was cold. The heat was not coming on, and about 4 o'clock today, I think they got it up and running. So we're just kind of crossing our fingers that it will still be running in the morning, so.
Do you want to wait and talk about that in maintenance? Because I have a lot of questions about that.
Yes, he does.
Oh, do you want to go now?
You might as well wait till maintenance.
Okay.
I never get to talk, right? So let's talk about,
You don't want that question?
No.
Any other questions in aquatics? Thanks, Shannon. At High Blue, the highlights are in the packet.
When are we going to see the new equipment? Isn't that High Blue?
What is the
The
question?
new equipment coming in? When are we going to see that? It's by April.
So, well, the budget will start April 1, so we won't order till then, or maybe order a little bit before that, but we'll have to put it out, so.
Okay, thanks.
And speaking on the silver sneakers, talking about the change in insurance is affecting, I guess, traffic on that. What's going on with that?
So each year, the insurance companies have a tendency to switch their programming around. And so this year, a lot of our Renew Active members are now Silver Sneakers members. Well, that's of course paperwork. And so it's just been a lot at the front desk because there have just been an influx of, plus the new members who naturally are just going to start on January 1st. In addition to those, we have a lot of transfers.
A lot of that is not the members or the insurance companies changing their plans, it's the members changing their insurance plans. So United is Renew Active, and Humana and all the other ones have Silver Sneakers. So no, United changed their plans this year, and a lot of people switched off of them to go to Humana. So
And I wondered if it has to do with cost or why,
it has to do with drug card and dental.
yeah.
I did a lot of
Something
changes
driving
this
it.
year, so.
Is the paperwork more of an internal issue, or is it something that can,
No, it
It's
has
just,
to be
they gotta
done.
wait for their Silver Sneakers card to come in the mail.
Yeah, it
Okay.
has to be done. It's part of the guidelines for each.
But aren't they supposed to get like a 30-day free window?
I'm not aware of that.
Okay.
We've
I
not
thought they
even
were
had
supposed to have
anyone
30
ask
days
that.
free before they had to produce that or have that number.
Usually we can just look it up because we're in both systems, so they don't actually have to have the card.
I know United makes them have a code, so
Yeah, we can get that for them.
Any other questions for Tracy? Thank you, Tracy. In the packet, you have marketing highlights.
No, well, Kaylee was planning to be here tonight, but she's at High Blue because of the Arts Commission reception. So she apologizes for that, but special events are a couple of new ones. The Benefit Bingo has kicked off with very successful for the Belton Education Foundation. And she brought Kids Night Out back. We had 32 sign up this past Saturday, so we hope to grow that program, but it was a good start. So I think people were excited to have it back.
nice.
On the marketing side, Vanda, about the college break promotions, looked like you had 10. How's that compare to what you've had in the past?
Tracy might be better at that.
I think that's probably pretty average.
Average,
Yeah, because a lot of those kids are on family plans, so these are just kids who come back whose parents are not members.
got you.
And we make it affordable so that it's worth their while to come in, so.
Do you know how she's promoting this bed night for February?
With Dr. Clutter, with the Belton School District.
Okay. And the Raymore Peculiar School District?
My guess is the first one is, we want to keep the numbers as low as possible just because we're not necessarily staffed to do that. And the school district is going to help us. So I know for the first one, we're going through with the Belton School District.
Okay, that was my next question. How are you staffing for that?
And we're only doing the older kids, like the 12 to 18. We don't want to do the younger ones yet. I mean, we're just trying to get our kind of our feet on the ground. And, I mean, we would be certainly open to RAPAC. We just thought maybe it might be more manageable to work with Sandy on the first event.
If you need any input, I would love to help with that.
We would take the help.
Okay.
Thank you.
Kevin, one thing I discussed, and this is probably more a me thing, was the discount, the school district discount. How for family, it's like $15, for a single, it's like $4. So it's like 10% for one and like 25% for a family. Either way, it just seems like we should be more consistent with the overall percentage.
Right, and I think that's something we're looking at. We have some prices, like I said, with the outdoor water park and the pool parties at High Blue. They're just a little off, so we need to kind of tweak some of those,
Okay.
just to make it easier on staff.
Thank you.
Any other questions on marketing or special events? Thank you, Vanda. Parks and Facilities is in the packet. Next year to answer any questions we may have.
So, I know, look, I just want to have a conversation about this because I know it's nothing to do with the staff. But I'm there a lot and I talk a lot, and there was 2 or 3 families that came in and those kids turned around crying. And it was really kind of sad to see, and this is a Monday when it was a holiday. I think we just need, I don't know how,
With the pool,
the rec pool being closed on Monday, because all the kids were off school. We just need to focus, look, I don't know if is this an older HVAC unit, is a newer one? I mean, we had the other pool closed for a little while because it wasn't heating either.
Right.
And we got that one fixed, now we have the issue with this one. I know we're gonna talk about replacing something very large on the rec pool, but as best we can, I think we need to really focus on making sure if the pools are closed because of lifeguards, I get it, we just don't have the staff, but if there's a way we can focus on, what's the word I'm looking for, the machinery, the HVACs, do we still have stuff that's 50 years old, 30 years old that needs to truly be updated? I mean, where are we going with that?
Well, that unit is about 16 years old that we're replacing, and that's probably about the average lifespan of a pool unit. We have been working hard to keep it up and running. It is a mechanical thing that we, cannot control when it stops working. We get people out there as soon as we can to get it fixed. We have, unfortunately, been shut down, probably 4 or 5 days in the last month. So we are working, I think we had both the controls people and mechanical side out there today so they could kind of hash it out because they've just been fighting on whose problem it is, basically. So that's what we've been dealing with.
So the resolution we'll be talking about later in the meeting, is that going to fix our issues?
With the rec pool, yes.
So, was it last meeting, Blake, the one with Joe, you were talking about something about having some kind of list or something having to do with our HVAC units or something like that, cost. Would that help us keep track of things better, or where we stand with some of these? Guys, I'm just sorry.
Right.
It was just sad to see those kids, just standing there with their life vests.
Right.
Turned around and just bawling. There was a couple of kids just bawling their eyes out, and I felt so bad. And it's not because of you guys. It's just like,
like I said, it was
got a day off and
unfortunate
they
that
wanna
it shut
come
down,
in.
on a day when the kids were out of school. So, but we try to keep it running. That unit runs 24/7, 365 days a year, and sometimes it just doesn't operate properly. So hopefully this new unit will take care of that.
Was it closed or just cold?
Well, if it gets to a certain temperature, we can't allow anybody to swim in there. The kids, believe it or not, it can feel pretty warm in there, but the kids' lips will turn blue, and it's just too cold.
So air temperature, not water temperature.
Right.
Have you had any parent complaints from Monday?
I think they had a few, yeah. And we tried to help that situation out by working with them.
And you made a good suggestion. I hate having this conversation because I do feel for you guys. I know that there's nothing you could do about it. It's just, when you're standing here, it's just one of those things. And I wish there was a way we could figure this out where I wish we had spare parts and we knew how to fix them right there, that they could just get fixed. But it makes it real tough when these things, there's a school holiday and it's closed 4 or 5 days. It's just real tough.
Right.
Well, and I would expect this weekend, if it gets down to -20, that could push the unit also.
I'm sure it would.
Yeah. Wind chill, yeah. But absolute is like what, in the below 10?
Dave, I think that list I was mentioning, like what they said, the 16-year, I think if we did have some sort of asset listing
Yep.
with the life of these products, some of them can be mitigated. Hey, this is 2 years past its life because our budget is small or something. So, I think they said they might work on that as a team going forward, and they're slowly starting to track more and more. The new director position is an opportunity. Just as the whole, there's so many maintenance items, so I couldn't even imagine how many they'd have to track. But if our budget is bigger, we can replace things sooner. If our budget's smaller, we're going to have days where we shut down and kids are going to be crying. So it's just kind of you got to have a good balance.
So I will say one thing, you mentioned the air temperature. The water temperature was also cold one day because the boiler went down. And that was just a simple booster pump that you need to move the water through the boiler. at a certain speed so it doesn't over temp. But we have that sitting on the shelf to replace it right away, so.
Thank you.
I have been working on an asset list with, industry standard replacement on, I would like to say I'm halfway. That might be a little generous, but it's a pretty big form, and I've been putting some effort in that.
And that's truly appreciated. Again, my conversation, I know I keep repeating myself, it's not, I get you guys, I get that there's nothing you could do about it. It just was very disheartening to see, and that's just sad that,
And that rotation and following maintenance and things like that, we've, I think about 4 or 5 years ago, we finally started rotating out trucks and things like that in the maintenance department, whereas, my gosh, the last truck we got was an 85 that was limping along that, should have been demolished 10 years ago, but now we're on a rotation and swapping things out sooner because we have more tax dollars we can do that with, so. Any other questions on maintenance?
I got one. I reached out to Kevin. I had a couple people reach out to me. Originally, I didn't know what they were talking about, but they thought that the color of our new playground was going to be too dark and too hot in the summertime. So I reached out to Kevin and wanted to know what the thoughts are, if we actually had any studies or, it's bright blue. So, I don't know what the material is, I don't know anything about it, but I didn't know what they were talking about until I saw a picture on Facebook, and then I'm like, I just wanted to inquire about, have we done anything to make sure that bright blue is not gonna be 125 degrees on people's feet in the summertime, so.
So, it's rubber, it's gonna hold heat, just like synthetic turf gets hot when you're out there playing soccer on it in the summer. I don't know, I'm gonna ask the contractor, what they recommend for, the temperatures. Like we've talked about, the lighter colors are gonna be a little cooler, so it's something, we are not locked into a color at this time.
It looks good on the picture, but people reached out and, like I told Kevin, when we did our pool deck and our decking on our decks, our people told us to take light colors because with the sun, it keeps the heat from getting those surfaces too hot around the pool or around on the deck. So I was assuming it would be the same thing on a playground too.
Well, I've had my feet on concrete and burned my feet just on concrete, and it's pretty light color, so, everything gets pretty hot in the summertime.
So
I will say too that there'll probably be a sign up at the playground that says, shoes are strongly recommended. You shouldn't be on there with bare feet.
I know somebody on Facebook actually said, are they gonna cover that, like put a tent over it? I'm like, well, I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah. There is some shade elements to it. That don't really show up in the picture, but there is some shade.
be
And
nice
there's a
if
tree
you-
there that people aren't seeing in the picture as well.
Right.
It would be nice if we checked with the contractor, see if there's a certain color that's hotter or cooler than others. And
Well, we did go with 100% color. Usually they do a 50-50 color and then black. So we did go with 100% color, so there's no black in there, which will help.
was this question more about the surface or about the equipment itself?
I got more about the surface
Okay.
because, I don't know what the material's gonna be made of. A lot of times metal, if it's metal, when it's 110 degrees out, it's gonna be hot too, by the way, so.
But
I assume plastic gets hot.
Are we doing the same surface we did at Country View?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's all different colors on the picture, so I don't know what it's made out of.
A lot of plastic and metal.
I just want to also state that I really appreciate you guys repurposing the Christmas trees. I think that's going to help the crappie spawn out at Cleveland Lake, and it's a good way to get rid of some live trees, so appreciate that.
How many trees did you have, like donations?
A total of 14.
Okay. How many do you think would be a good maximum for Cleveland Lake?
They say to have a 20% structure rate, so that would be a lot. I think that would be very aggressive. But even 30, I could be building bigger structures, probably still have just as many places I put them, just larger structures at the point.
I know we really wanted to bring ours, but we're out of town both of the drop-off day options. Do you think that might be expanded next year?
This was just kind of a trial run. I kind of enjoyed it too, so I'd definitely be interested in having more than just 2 days next year.
I think if you made it on a Saturday, you'd get a lot of trees. Having it that Thursday night, you probably didn't get very many on Thursday night.
No, and I got drenched that Thursday too.
Right.
It rained hard.
Yeah. Any other questions on maintenance? Comments? Thanks, Nick. Moving on to recreation. It's in the packet. I do have a question on the tournaments and field rentals. Who are we dealing with in that? Still USSSA as far as rentals?
It's primarily Sports America, and then we have 2 USSSA and 1 Top Gun.
How far along are you in the negotiations? I mean, are they taking up a lot of weekends? Do you know yet?
We have 11 tournaments, but last year we had 12, but 3 ended up getting canceled, so we only had 9. But I've sent out MOUs to all of them, so I'm just waiting for those to come back.
Great. Any other questions?
I'm going to say back in the day on the tournaments, I mean, when Shane was here, I think probably the last time we did them, but we used to have our own tournaments out there through USSSA. I mean, I guess that's not possible anymore, or?
I'm not sure it's not possible. There's a lot of organizations that have popped up since then. I think they have a stronghold on the market. I know from talking to some of them, Shane tried going out on his own, but realized how much work it was and kind of diverted that back to the tournament companies that are mainly doing it.
Yeah, we used to have a fun wood bat tournament that we used to do here all the time that everybody loved coming to, so.
The other one I like is if we did handle our own tournament, would be an all-night tournament. It's tough to get refs, I realize that, but I know they used to have them down in Monette, Missouri, and it's just a blast. The tournament doesn't start till like 7 o'clock at night, and then it ends, the championship game's at 10 o'clock the next morning.
Oh, God.
So, you stay all night, and kids are out there playing, and they love it. So I think you get a lot. Actually, they do one in town now, the old Chuck Kirtley's tournament. They do an all-nighter, but that's the only one I know of in the area. So something to think about.
Are we referring to the same fields we talked about a couple of board meetings ago as far as being natural versus turf? Did you
Mark
find, I mean, was there any like pushback or less because we're a natural field?
Yeah, for an example, when I started here in 2020, I used to oversee Markey Park in the athletic fields as the athletic facility supervisor, and we had 28 tournaments in 2020 when I first started here. Now we're down to 11, and I just think it's a shift, and these tournament companies going mostly to the synthetic turf fields.
And again, remind me how much it would be to turf those fields? About $1 million a field?
Yeah.
And that would be just probably the synthetic turf, then you have fencing, and then, like I said before, lights. I mean, we have lights, but I would definitely want to upgrade to LED.
Right. And how many years would it take to recoup, or to even break even on that?
A lot.
If ever? Is that an if ever?
We would never fully recoup all the money.
Yeah.
Now, it's more of the economic impact to the city when you're bringing all these teams in, more than what we make off of the tournament itself. So.
Well, I think
So maybe towards the future, when the entertainment district's there, yeah, teams come in and play. But that expense and the upkeep, is it?
Well, and I think we're competing with cities that have lots of fields, don't they? Like more than double, even if we put in turf.
Well, you're probably competing with what Johnson County and Lee Summit and things
Right.
like that, so much bigger Parks and Recs department, so
Right.
more money.
we also kind of talked about, just marketing the fact that it is a natural field as being like a benefit, and maybe, if, focusing on things other than the turf, like you mentioned, the lighting and or, the stadium seating or whatever is available there. If we can focus on those benefits, or even if there are, we provide brats while the others only have hot dogs. I don't know, just something to make ours
I think a lot of
stand out
the,
that isn't $1 million investment in new
I think
trucks.
a lot of the issue is that when it rains, a lot of those tournaments get rained out with no turf. If there's turf, they can still have them, and that's,
The big selling point is if
Yeah.
it's July, we haven't had rain for 3 weeks, and it's 110 degrees, I'd much rather be on a live grass field than I would AstroTurf. That's the big time that you're gonna actually benefit from live grass.
Is there the opportunity for adult leagues versus kids? Because do adults travel? I figured adults have jobs, so they can't be traveling all over, I would think. I don't know.
2 years ago, we partnered with USSSA Slow Pitch, and they gave us a list of 5 or 6 tournaments, but they only ended up coming out for one. It's just low numbers, I think.
Yeah.
Any other questions on recreation? Thanks, Joaquin. Moving on to standing committees, finance, Jennifer?
Thank you for the year-end stuff, Shayna. I think the questions that I think are gonna be obvious, if we look at our, we have our summary here for the 9 months the park funds budgeted versus actual, which you can see we're within 1% on our revenues and expenditures. We're at that -16, but if we look at the second page and the cash balances, this park sales tax, we're at that -31%. But if you come over to the third page on that, the park sales comparisons, if you look at the overall, we're within 3%. So I'm assuming on this, on the red sheet, Shayna, this 31% is because it just hasn't come through yet.
No, it's higher because we had a bigger transfer this year. So we're taking more out of the sales tax account this year than we did last year for operating.
Any questions on finance?
I have one question. Your other revenues, I assume most of that's sales tax, and the other stuff, is that like pilots, or what's the other $80,000 in other revenue?
No, the other revenue is not sales tax. The grant that we got in there for the dock.
$2.8 million?
Oh, other revenue, yes. I see what you're talking about. That is the transfer.
I know, but there's, the sales tax, oh, you had 2.5 in sales tax, but it's 2.8 up here. That's why I was trying to figure out what the,
So the top is the balance that's in that account. The other revenues, that's how much we've transferred out so far.
I guess my question is, do we get money from the city for the pilots? Payments in lieu of taxes, like for North,
Yeah, we have before.
every taxing jurisdiction is supposed to be getting some of that money. That's why I was trying to figure out where it,
Yeah, it would be in the property tax, I believe. But I can look into that for you.
it's in the property tax,
I
okay.
think so, yeah.
every year, have we been, so I know we've been taking certain amounts of dollars in sales tax and rolling it over. Have we been increasing that every year by $1 million? So like if we took 2 million last year, 3 million this year, or the year before that, did we take 1 million? And then all of a sudden we took 2 million this year, the next year, and then 3 million the next year? Are we increasing it almost by $1 million each year that we're taking out? Instead
down
of
this
just
year.
doing
Yeah, it's
2 million and 2 million.
It's in FY '27. It's down from what we took out in
Okay.
FY '26. Then FY '25 to FY '26 was an extra $1 million, but that was the first time that we've taken that much because the bond payments are less. And that last bond payment will be paid off in FY '27, potentially this year, if Casey gives us the go ahead to do that.
That we could pay off our debt service early?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions on finance? Thank you, Jennifer. Recreation did not meet. Building and Grounds did not meet. Dave Personnel didn't meet.
We didn't meet.
Now we'll move on to new business. Motion approving resolution number 2026-001, a resolution authorizing the park director to destroy certain records that have exceeded their retention requirements as set forth by the state of Missouri.
Present.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion?
This is just something that we do every year to get rid of old paperwork.
What is the retention timeline?
There's for different things, there's different time limits. So some we were waiting on the audits of the previous years to get done before we could get rid of some of them.
The state of Missouri has a retention schedule. Can you hear me? It has a retention schedule, and it dictates how long you're to keep certain records.
So looking at some of those records, a lot of them are memberships. Is there a chance that we just do it all electronically, or we wouldn't have all the paperwork?
That would probably be a Tracy question.
I can answer that. We've switched to, now it is all electronically.
Okay.
It's all in Laserfish now. These are the old ones.
But they're not filling them out electronically, I think was the
Right.
question.
Oh, yeah, no. They're not filling them out.
So then we're filing away whatever they've, no, we're
Not
not.
anymore.
Okay,
Not anymore.
We're scanning them and then we can destroy them because they are not the official record any longer.
excellent, good job. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Motion approving resolution number 2026002, a resolution approving a contract for services for the design build of a new playground at Wallace Park between the Belton Parks Recreation Department and Aspire to Play LLC.
Present.
Second.
Present and second. Discussion.
My only question is, the state of Missouri picked this company, or did we pick this company? It says in here that we had to send 4 companies to them for
Right, yes.
approval, or did they actually tell us who we had to use?
So we kind of picked the best, the lowest and best bid that met all the requirements that we had in place. And then we sent those 4 to LWCF, and they approved
Who
on
you
their
picked?
end. So we just send who we recommended, and they could have recommended somebody else or told us to go with somebody else, but they went with the one that we recommended.
Okay.
Kevin, remind me again, was that a 50-50 on the grant?
Yeah. Yeah,
And-
406 grant and 406.
So we're gonna have extra money?
Well, right, because it says 778 on this contract.
Right.
But
There's other costs, our in-kind labor, our time hauling the old playground off. There's other costs associated with the total cost of the project.
This is just the,
Gotcha.
yeah,
And I think this is one where you're submitting receipts, aren't you?
Yes, we have to keep records of every man-hour, every equipment hour, everything.
And how is the grant going to be paid out? Is it going to be paid 406,000, or is it going to be paid 100,000 a month?
I think it's just whatever we turn in for reimbursement.
Okay.
They don't want us to do a lump sum like they used to. They want us to do it, it may be where we get the playground ordered and paid for, and then we submit that, and some of the time that we have already invested in the project.
Did we talk about in the budget process, we're getting half now and half next year?
We could possibly, yeah.
Okay.
But so basically, we're going to pay out the dollars first and then get reimbursed?
Yes, it's a reimbursement, yeah. So we budgeted the $812,000.
Okay.
On the hours that we submit, do they reimburse us at like an hourly rate, or is it hourly plus taxes, benefits?
I think it's whatever, like the FEMA schedule for equipment, the rates for equipment. So like a truck is so much per hour, and then our man hours are set at a certain price for, supervisor, a laborer, whoever's out there working on it.
Your hourly rate includes all benefits is what you're basically saying, right?
Right. And there's other, like a drinking fountain, there'll be a bottle filler drinking fountain that's gonna go out there too, so that's another cost.
That'll be nice.
What's that?
That'll be nice.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Did you feel comfortable with the contract? Like, it's more favorable towards us than the contractor? Like, and also what kind of warranties on this playground?
There's different warranties on the plastic and stuff for fading and stuff like that. I think there's maybe a 10-year on the fall surfacing, the pour in place.
Okay.
But there's a lifetime warranty on some of the, the metal poles and the platforms and stuff like that. But your plastics are what's gonna break down first.
Any other questions?
I had one last one. How much labor time do you think, as a department, we'll have to put into this project? Are like we doing the entire install, or is it
No,
a?
we were just doing the tear out.
Okay.
Yes, that's all we were,
So you're saying you guys are basically done already then?
yes. I think we will install the drinking fountain with the water lines and all that in-house. So we try to do as much stuff as we can in-house, keep the costs down.
Thinking about the conversation on how hot the surface gets and you guys running the water lines then for the fountains, that seems like another solution for the heat on the surface would be to, have ways to spray it down occasionally or on a hot day or something like that. So just as, I don't know how that easy or difficult that would be as a connection or an option for when you're running the water lines.
Okay. Yeah, we can look into adding some sort of hose bib or something out there. I imagine some of those new drinking fountains come with a hose bib on them.
That wouldn't last very long.
What?
What's that?
Cooling, I'm just saying it wouldn't cool it off for that long if it was a hot day. It would cool it off and then it would,
Probably bring the humidity up.
A little bit of relief.
yeah.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Motion approving resolution number 2026-003, a resolution approving the purchase of ABB SIPS single-phase lighting inverters from Facility Gateway Corporation in the amount not to exceed $24,999.
Present.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Has this already been done?
No.
Okay, because I thought I saw somebody up there doing some lights in the rec pool.
That was the sound system they were installing.
No, I don't mean today. I mean like a week or two ago.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They've been, last couple of weeks, they've been working on the speakers in the aquatics area.
Perfect, thank you.
So so we had a power outage recently, a couple times, and it was kind of an extended amount of time, and so that's when we noticed that there was an issue with the backup lighting for the pool. If it's dark out and the power goes out in the pool area, that's not a good thing. You can't see the swimmers in the pool, so we need to get this fixed as soon as possible.
Is there a way to, speaking of the power outage, did it affect the scoreboard, the board at all?
No.
Okay. Sometimes they'll damage those boards, so.
Yeah, most of the damage that we've gotten was just a phase loss every once in a while, and it kind of fries some of the low voltage side of stuff on some of our HVAC units.
I see that this quote is good through today.
Yeah.
Do you have a way to reach out to them today, or do you anticipate this might go up as of tomorrow?
I think if we reach out to them tomorrow and get it ordered, I think we'll be fine.
Okay.
But yeah, I've noticed that, some of these contractors we're getting prices for, it's 14 days. They only guarantee that price for 14 days. Where it used to be at least 30. So,
Wow.
So Kevin, this probably is not a budgeted item, correct?
it can come out of buildings and grounds, so.
Building and grounds?
Yes,
Okay.
there's money in buildings and grounds.
Any other questions?
Is this lighting in the pool or is it lighting, overhead lighting?
It's overhead lighting,
Overhead lighting.
yeah.
Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Motion approving resolution number 2026-004, a resolution authorizing and approving task agreement number 26-01 with the Stranger for the purchase of an EASI pool rooftop unit, better known as an RTU, in the amount of $486,622.
Present.
Second.
Present in a second. Discussions.
I'm ready to get this thing ordered.
27 budget?
Yeah, next year's budget.
Huh?
Yeah, it's in next year's budget. It won't get here for probably an estimated 24 to 28 weeks. So we do not have to pay until it arrives,
When's it gonna be here?
24 to 28 weeks.
Oh,
from the time we order it.
okay.
That's why I'm wanting to get it ordered now.
I was just kind of confused when we were talking about 27 budget, and I'm like, that's 4 months away.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, we will not make any payment until next budget year.
Okay.
Does this have to go through the city manager as well, being over the threshold?
This is a budgeted item, so I don't believe so.
Yeah, I think we changed that where if it's a budgeted item, then we're good. If it's a non-budgeted item over a certain dollar amount, then yes, we
Over
have to do it.
25,000.
Unless it's an
Technically-
emergency fix.
Yeah.
Yep.
Technically, that was not a change. It was just a solidification. But yes, as long as it's budgeted, then that approval is kind of baked in, if you will.
Has this budget been approved by the city?
Well,
FY
that's
27?
a good
So
question.
I think
Well,
it
So
might be
in
best to
theory-
cool off. And
they don't approve our
officially,
budget, is what they said.
The city council has stated that they don't approve our budget.
But if they reject the budget or change it before it's
But it takes-
solidified.
Well, if
But
they
it takes that
reject this,
long to
Blake,
get.
we got some problems.
Right, I'm just
Yeah.
saying that should we, not count the ducks before they're in a row kind of thing. Just
Well, I-
procedurally, make sure the budget is completely signed off for the city of Belton, because if there's some massive change that we're unaware of as one of the departments, and they had to cut the budget by $1 million or something,
But our budget's not affected by
Ours is a
their
separate
budget.
budget.
Our budget's totally separate from the city's budget, and so,
If they cut theirs $1 million, it doesn't affect us one iota.
and furthermore, they've clearly stated that they don't approve our budget.
And the other thing, Blake, is I think
Even
the
if they
process
modify it,
is
they don't approve
if
it.
they want to disagree with something on our budget, tell me if I'm correct, two city council
I
members
think it's
have
three,
to,
actually.
3 of them.
do
Be in a
something.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
You're good,
Yeah. So,
please.
so there is to, I guess, Blake, your question and the thought process here. There is a process through which the city council could go into the parks budget and question something, right? Whatever that something may be. That process, so this is, I totally understand where you're coming from on this thinking process, but I believe the situation here is that you're not going to have this even come to your budget until well after budget's been even completed for even the city, right? So I think that's like the overall thought process on, this particular item.
I mean, I was questioning the 27 budget because, we're not even done with 26 yet, right? But if it's taking 24 to 30 weeks to get it to come in, I mean, we need to get it ordered. I'll also say in my 26 years of being around the city council in the city of Belton, there's never once been questioned by a city council member on the park. So, I mean, I just don't, if they're going to complain about us replacing an air conditioner unit, I mean, we can have a discussion about that, but.
And
They won't do that, and furthermore, I mean, I rely on the charter. If you look at the charter, it states clearly, the city can make suggestions about our budget. That's all they can do.
that's all I wanted to clear. I just wanted to make sure I'm not I'm not a charter, expert here by any means. So before we approve the $500,000, I just wanted to make sure that, from your guys' wisdom, that we're good to go ahead and push this through before the city has announced their approved budget. I didn't know if it impacted us.
Well, the
So
problem with this
I just
city
wanted,
is,
with all
I
the
mean-
procedural
Right.
stuff.
Yeah.
We haven't even
Make sure
started
it is
yet, have you?
clear and it's not just like muddy, like, oh, it could be this or that, or we have done it this way.
I think if we were
Confident.
building a building or something like that, Blake, I totally get where you're coming from.
Well,
But this
again,
kind of
if it's a
stuff.
building or an RTU, why, does it really matter? It doesn't,
Well,
right?
it
does
does, because
matter
we'd have
in the
to probably
fact
do
that
a
this-
bond or something for that, but.
So a bond would
Yeah,
impact the
But for
charter?
this, we can do this within budget. And again, in this kind of situation, even if we're putting the cart before the horse, there's no way the city council is gonna say no to an HVAC unit that keeps High Blue running.
And I agree. I was just. I
It's a
just wanna make sure
budgeted
it was
item,
clear.
Yeah.
so it's gonna be budgeted, so that's,
Well, we've already turned our budget in, and it's in it. They just haven't seen it yet, I'm gonna assume, Alex,
They
right?
have seen it.
Yeah, I was gonna say technically, so just on the talk of budget, our first official budget meeting will be tomorrow, that the city council referring to. And the budget has already, preliminarily been shared with all of us. That will be subject to change, of course, until it's finally solidified, but those numbers that change should be relatively minimal. And on that front, just in case, I'll just say from my glancing of the budget and my reviewing of it at this point, we're doing just fine as a city. We shouldn't have a concern in any aspect of the budgeting piece. I'm not saying we're throwing dollar bills out the window, but I'm just saying we should be in a good place.
there's no issue.
I'm just
That's
double
the
checking.
short
I'm
of it.
new guy to the room,
I got you.
so.
I don't understand.
If you guys all want to attack me with your knowledge, please do, please do. So that's what I'm here, is to.
Not at all.
And ask maybe questions that you're like, this guy, where did he come from? Read the charter, so I'm getting there slowly.
No. Blake,
No,
it's
that's a good question. What you brought up is
$8
something you should bring up. Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Motion approving resolution number 2026-005, a resolution approving a 5-year beverage agreement with Heartland Coca-Cola Bottling Company, LLC, for the Belton Parks facilities.
Present.
Second.
So a motion and a second, discussions.
I like Pepsi better.
So, yeah, this is a 5-year agreement. We just finished a 3-year agreement with Coke, so we're just signing a new 5-year with them.
Can I ask a dumb question? What's Tum E Yummies? That's one of the listings of the product package and price? Tum E Yummies. Have you guys heard of that before? Is that like a energy drink or something? Yeah, oh well.
Yeah, I'm not for sure. Obviously, we don't sell that product. It's just on their list of,
I just don't want it to be gummies. A different name for gummies.
So is this similar to what we've done for the last 3 years?
yes, yeah.
This is a question that I'm just throwing out there just because. Why do we need a Coke machine? And not just like a water and juice machine or something?
Well, we've.
Revenue generator?
Yeah, we get 25% of all sales out of the vending machines in there. And we are one of the top producing community centers in the area. Well, even more than community centers, so.
And is it just the Coke machine that we have?
So we have the vending machines inside High Blue, but they also supply all of our coolers for Markey Park that we keep all of our sodas cold in. They just have a lot of equipment that they bring in that we would have to purchase. And then they'll replace it if something happens to it at no cost to us.
I was just thinking about expanded options aside from soda and water.
We have been in discussions with having some, I mean, we couldn't, if we sign this agreement, we can't, compete with Coke, but we could do some sort of nutritional food or something like that.
Yeah, I guess that's my question and just thought process is just wanting to make sure that 5 years is I mean, it's relatively a short time, but it seems like kind of a long time if you're wanting to make any kind of change in terms of, healthy options versus, sodas, and just wanting to think through the whole gamut of possibilities. So if you can't do a compete with Coca-Cola, does that include like another vending machine that would have, orange juice and apple juice and cranberry
Right.
juice or something?
Yeah, we can't have any other beverages in there.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm going to add on to what Shannon's saying. You can't add another vending machine that has Coke products, because Coke is a large company. They have orange juice, they have fruit juices. Can we add on to that based on using Coke products?
Yeah, we can pick whatever goes in the vending machines. I think the reason what's in there is kind of the top sellers. That's what's selling, and that's what we want to offer.
Yeah, okay, I just want to make sure, like, over the next 5 years, we still have some flexibility in choosing alternative options to, Coke and Sprite and whatever else they have.
Okay.
I assume Monster's probably your biggest seller.
I can't remember. I mean, the pineapple Fanta was pretty popular. Yeah, it's pretty good.
And
Kevin, I'm just curious why, if we had a 3-year, why are we going to a 5-year?
Well,
What's the advantage?
We've had good luck with them. They are prompt on their responses. We did have another company before that would not come out and fix machines, would not restock machines, and we're constantly having issues. And Coke is very responsive to our needs, and they do give us sponsorship money. We get rebates, we get free 50 cases of free water, just stuff like that.
Are they out there pretty quickly if a machine breaks down and things like that?
Yeah, some of those machines, we're having issues with them. They may misfeed one drink, but they're still working properly. But they'll get out there the next day if we put in a request for repairs.
it seems like the longer we can lock in a lower rate, the better, maybe?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Because rates are going up.
Any other questions, comments, discussion?
I'm sorry, one other question. Do we also include, or does that include energy drinks like they were talking about?
Monster's in there, Monster.
Whatever's a Coca-Cola product,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
There's body armor.
Okay.
Smart water.
I do think there's some new research out there about the impact of those energy drinks, that maybe that's not something we want to have in our recreation center for kids.
I call it jack-up juice.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. L, items for review and discussion, Parkland map presentation. Kevin?
Okay, you should have a map in your packet. It may be kind of small and hard to see, but. So, a while back, Joe said he was going to delineate, the park properties from other city properties. So this is a map that he had sent to me to look over. And I believe you guys all have it. I sent a copy to all of you. I did add at Markey Park, the dog park wasn't on there, or the area east, the open field east of the road. And he did add that when I sent it back.
So was Markey Park actually platted at one time?
Yes, that was the only park that is platted.
But where they parked, the field wasn't platted back in the day because it's red? Is that what I'm getting?
Right, yeah, they only platted inside the road there.
We could give that back to the city. They could mow that.
I mean, if.
We'd have nowhere for
we
the
need
carnage to
future
live.
room, we need room for future expansion.
So Kevin, you and I had a discussion about this map last week, and one thing, is this the map you gave back to city manager already?
Yes, and I did ask them to add a section over by Oil Creek.
Okay, that's what I was worried
yeah.
about, yeah. Oil Creek from 162nd to 163rd, we maintain that, we've had maintained that for a long time, so.
The trail.
I've asked to have that put on where the trail is. We've asked to have that put on the parks map as well.
It's half of that area, because the other half is still owned by Roger Shirk. So we do have an easement through, yeah.
I have a question about, what about acquisition? Because there's that little piece of property by Country View I think it had a tax lien still happening. I mentioned it to Brian like last year sometime. Have you looked into that?
I have not. I did see the sign up on the
Okay.
property you're talking about.
It's woods, you know.
Okay. Yeah, I can see where they're at with that.
Actually, that's a good point you brought up. We did get that property, though, between Country View, connecting Country View to Cleveland Lake.
Well, we got an easement. I mean, the landowner still owns the property. We just have an easement to put the trail there.
So if it's an easement, we won't have that in red then?
We don't own it.
No, not easements, because we also have an easement for the trail across from Wallace Park as well, that is not owned by us.
Now, Terry, I was talking about, there's a small piece of property southeast of Country View Park along that, it's just a small parcel, but it's in tax lien abatement, so I don't know if there's maybe something with, county or city to see if they can relinquish that. I don't know how the whole property, just thinking of future acquisitions when you.
Yeah, we are looking, I mean, that is one thing in the survey. We need, pocket parks and stuff throughout the city. So that's one thing I've kind of told the city, that we need to look for some areas around the city that we can add parks to, which would be added to this map later.
And Kevin, the military ball field, is that the soccer, the space
Westover.
practice?
Westover's the one where we practice that.
Yeah, military,
Ball field's right on the
Is
corner.
that the one that was looking to be developed?
Westover.
Westover.
Yeah.
The Westover soccer field.
Yes, I know what it is. Okay,
That's
sorry.
where the
Yeah,
development
sorry.
was, yeah.
Is there a way just to indicate on this map those easements that we have as well? Maybe in another color?
yeah, we could probably add the easements that we have.
Are they wanting a confirmation from us? Is that what I remember seeing?
Well, they wanted you guys to be able to review it before it went in front of the council for final approval.
We don't have to approve it?
I think if you'd have any questions at this time or wanted to change anything, that we could possibly send it over to them before they approve it.
I mean, if you're good with this map, I'm good with it. I mean, you guys mow it all, so you should know it.
Well, there'd be two readings on that anyway, so if they, right?
I think that's
No,
just a
it'll be just a
resolution. I think that's just
Just a
one-
resolution's all it's gonna be?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not an ordinance, it's a resolution.
I would
don't-
just
go.
I would just indicate adding those easements, yeah.
Okay, we can do that.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, this is still, City of Belton is the property owner. This is just codifying that this is currently the parks.
That it's zone parks.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah,
Well, it's zoned public use.
okay.
Some of the parks are actually zoned agricultural at this time,
Yeah.
so.
Are they gonna change the zoning on all that too then, to make sure it says parkland in?
I think they are working on that, yeah.
Alex?
So there's a couple questions there. So one was just, yeah, this is absolutely just to codify all the discussion going back a year or more ago, when we were having discussions on this, on what is parkland. It says in our charter that, there's this discussion on parkland, but what is it? This is where now we're defining what it is. And then in terms of, we are overhauling codes, our Unified Development Code, UDC, that's a process we're already in the middle of. So I believe that will get updated when we update our codes. We'll have that as part of the zoning updates. Don't hold me to that, I could be wrong, but I don't know why we wouldn't do it. I've had that same question and discussion before because I believe Country View, I think, is noted as being residential at the moment, which obviously it is not. So just as a little example, so yeah, I mean, the zoning, I would argue, isn't going to be as important as this, because this is what, we would all look at. Zoning is the idea of what it could be in the future if something wanted to be put there, since we already have something there. You know what I mean? It's not it's not as big of a deal as it is when we, the city, are defining this is what our parkland is.
I would say the zoning changes only because you would have to know that it was parkland at one time, because now we're gonna rezone it from parkland, public use, whatever that was, out the soccer complex on Westover, because it was being rezoned from parkland to R3, so.
That's another good point, and actually, I forgot, someone mentioned this. That's another good point. Technically, there is no parkland zone. It's what it is, it says like public use, recreation, and
Open
parks or something
spa-
like
open
that, or open
spaces.
space, yeah, that
But I think
actual
if you go read
zoning
what
language.
was in the zoning that time to change it, it started off with parkland, public use, recreational. So that's why,
Let me put it this way, I sincerely hope, and I would be very disappointed if our whole process where we're updating our UDC here does not make this a little more clear for us. Because
Well,
right now, it's, you
we're
know,
trying to do this not for us today, but for people 15 years from now that are
oh,
come into, their new city manager comes in and doesn't know that's actually parkland, or maybe thinks it's just City of Belton when he looks at a GIS map, right?
yep,
So-
exactly.
And I assume we don't need to put Dryden on here because of the way it's deeded? Dryden
We
is?
can, I mean, we could separate it out as
Oh.
two.
Oh, I
I
thought,
mean, I hear there's some property right next to it that we could potentially add.
That's where the amphitheater's going, I think, facing that way.
Is this your land,
oh, I
Dave?
couldn't tell. Okay.
But,
It's for sale.
but I believe there's only,
Is that yours?
I don't know if this answers your question, but I believe there's only 2 parcels that are specifically that have deed restrictions to parks, and I believe it is that property.
Is your house on it? Is your house on it?
And military ball field as well.
What is it?
The military ball field has to remain recreational space when the government donated it to us.
Oh, so that's the two we're talking about.
You're way off the road, way back there.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember where the other one was, thank you.
Did you know, it used to be called Steve Todd Field.
Correct, yes.
What keeps us bound to
Yeah, that's a nice.
when the government donated it, we're bound to that? Where is that noted in?
Well, and that was the point I was making. So technically, and that's why we got into that's, to be frank, that's part of why we got into this big discussion originally about all of this stuff, is there's really nothing short of a deed restriction keeping it bound that way. So then it becomes, well, what is parkland? So now we will have this, codified in a resolution, so, not only is it clear for the park board, but it's also clear for city council, it's also clear for a new city manager 15 years from now, or whatever, whatever the case may be, we will have something to look at and be very specifically clear on. That's kind of the idea.
Well, I mean, I go back and I tell people, like, when maybe Joe looked at that land and just saw City of Belton listed on it, you drive by it every day, you don't know it's parkland, right? Because he didn't grow up here, been here for a year or two, and,
I don't want to speak for him, but yeah, right.
I mean, even new guys like you didn't have kids playing soccer on that field like I did, so, I mean.
Yep.
Yeah, Dave, that's where I was going at. I've studied the GIS map that we have, that Cass County has, and you're right, it doesn't, it says City of Belton,
Yeah.
but not necessarily,
So
yeah,
that-
it doesn't
I don't
break
know
it
if
down
it's
to-
gonna change from that either.
That's what I'm
It's
getting
not.
at. Yeah.
I mean, the charge is pretty clear there that all real estate, all real property has to be in, I mean, parks isn't a separate entity. It's all in the
It's just gonna be
city.
designated.
Any other questions or comments on the map? Okay.
The only comment I'd make, you president, is that your title, chairman? Is just, I appreciate the city actually going through and marking everything parkland this way for future knowledge of everybody, they know that that's actually, because if you don't, I mean, most people don't know Peace Park or Smoot Park is actually a park either, but, but yeah, it's just kind of nice that we're actually doing something so everybody knows what it is, so.
Yeah, and it creates conversation if something's needed, so.
Well, that's why I think it would be important, as Shannon mentioned, to have the easements on there as well, as a different tab or whatever, or a different color, just so we know where the easements, not so we know, so that the future knows where our easements are at.
I also think this is a helpful, like, for someone new coming into the community who was looking up the parks in the city of Belton. I mean, just having this map, even on the city webpage, I think would be helpful.
So Kevin, did you plat those easements over there going from Cleveland Lake to Country View?
No,
So you're saying if that guy sold that property, we'd have to go back and redo all that then, right?
no, it's an easement forever.
So but it's platted easement. That's what I'm asking.
I don't know that we ever platted it.
Because I think easements actually have a line and say easement on it, so,
Yeah, I can look into it.
okay.
So then, as we're talking also on the easements, what Dave Daniels calls the bunny trail, that actually, you know, where it goes underneath the 70 or 49 highway, that trail is actually on, must be an easement.
Yeah, it's owned by Kansas City Homes LLC.
Okay.
But it's a floodplain,
Well,
yeah,
no,
can't do
that
anything
whole-
with
It's an
it.
easement, so
That side is owned by Kansas City Home Sales LLC, or the other side of,
both.
All of it to 163rd.
but the other side by where I live, that's also them? The trail over there?
Across from Wallace, yes.
Yes.
Oh,
There's a trail that goes back in the woods in there.
yeah.
That's all an easement.
Okay.
I think it's like 11 acres in there.
Do we want that?
I've reached out
I don't know how
to
you
try
don't
to
get
get it for a while and haven't had any luck.
They don't even exist, do they?
I think they're under a different name now, but
I bet,
Interesting.
I mean, sorry to interrupt. I'm sure somebody knows that it has to exist somewhere because somebody's, I'm sure, paying taxes on that property. Even if it's, $1, I'm sure somebody's paying taxes on it.
Yes, absolutely, yep. Any other questions or comments on the map? Okay, moving on to announcements. Anyone have any announcements? Hearing none, I make a motion to adjourn at 7:22.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you, folks.